I was invited to share you memories. So memories I will give you because you see, I um, I speak to you as one with a heart full of memories, and most of it of Pine City Toastmasters memories. So you see, the first time I heard about Toastmasters was in the U.S. Actually, two of my graduate school students were Toastmasters. Two of my colleague professors were Toastmasters. Two of my neighbors were Toastmasters. And then I began to wonder what Toastmasters was all about. And the only answer I had, the only way to get answers to my question was to join it. So I joined Toastmasters. And of course, I found out what you, my dear colleagues in Toastmasters, found out for yourself. Anyway, I'd like to let you know that Toastmasters is world over. I would, like I did, look for a Toastmasters club anywhere you are and you'll find one. And you will have the pleasure of new acquaintances, learning, and fun, like I did. Because, well, I had the chance to join Toastmasters because not only were neighbors and friends Toastmasters, my own family were members. I found out my son was in Makati and he was member of this Diamond Toastmasters, if I'm not mistaken. My own daughter was a area governor, so I had the chance to go with her around. And I visited some. I had the pleasure, I had the privilege, and I would like to share you my excitement as I did experience all this from this Toastmasters Club in New York. We are the PAGS something, and then down to California, and then down to Connecticut, where I had the pleasure also of being vice president for education. And then, know what? You meet also Filipinos outside there as members of Toastmasters. So it's not only in our country where we have Toastmasters, we have them outside. So like I said, I had the pleasure of joining some, like one also in Hawaii, where we have the Kamehameha. But it's not only pleasure, it's not only learning, but you also get to have information of culture. Culture, like I said, is variant according to the culture of the country. So that in our country, where we are Catholics, we have this inspirational portion where we do some prayer. But down in Singapore, down in Malaysia, Hong Kong, where they are Muslims, instead of the prayer, you would find out that they do little inspirational talk. Sometimes they recite as inspirational poem. But you will find that culture also is variegated in Toastmasters. So there, back in Baguio, the club that I joined first was Pine City Toastmasters. This was the only club then in Baguio. There were others like Felix Toastmasters, like Headcourt Toastmasters. There was another one down San Fernando, La Union, the La Union executives. And then, well, in my time now as area governor, there were three more that I put up. Like, first one was Baguio Professionals, which now is called Funshine. The other one was we had one in PMA. We had the PMA Toastmasters Club. And we had another one still, the Baguio Forensics. So in this excitement that I had joining Toastmasters, I also was motivated to add more clubs so that in my area, we had 6 Toastmasters clubs. But I am wondering now where they all went. They're gone. Maybe we should have the present leadership follow follow this up and find out where they are hiding, and come up again and join the Pine City Toastmasters Club. Anyway, being in Baguio, and joining the Pine City Toastmasters Club, I reminisce the pleasure and the privilege of my leadership learning with Manny Salenga. I don't know if any of you know distinguished Toastmaster Manny Salenga. Jade is raising her hand. He was the only Toastmaster from the North who was once a district governor of District 75. So it was under him and two more, past area governor Tampanis, past area governor Rick Bayaw. They were the stalwarts of Pine City, and with them, I had experienced leadership training. And to them, I would say thank you very much. But anyway, as I reminisce more, I remember that we had a hot seat. One part of the program was a hot seat, which came after the delivered speeches. And this was where we go out of speech making. This was one where one was assigned to present maybe a song, maybe a dance, maybe no, one of the best one of the Toastmasters I remember of the olden times was Frank Banikad. If you know Manny Salenga, you might know Frank Banikad with Tom Panis and Rick Bayaw and a lot more that I will not be able to mention. But Jade was there too. She was one of those that I remember who took over when I left Pine City Toastmasters for a while and went to the US. It was Jade who took over as president of Pine City Toastmasters. So she was one time a president. Now, maybe she's just forgotten. She's trying to remember. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I remember we had a hot spot. So this is where one was assigned to deliver something that was not a speech. Now we don't have that anymore. And I would remember also, I would like to remember that it was I who suggested or introduced the word sparkle, because sparkle is supposed to be a non-linguistic thing, which is going to be for everybody to join. So one day, maybe one sparkle was, today, bring somebody you love, or bring your boss, or wear something blue, or wear something green. Anything that was not linguistic in order to sparkle the generality of speech making. So anyway, you're doing it to make an introduction, but it's okay. I don't mind. But I just want to let you know that once upon a time in Pine City Toastmasters Club, the sparkle was non-linguistic. So aside from that, we used to have debates. It was not only in Toastmasters, it was on the only speech making. We used to have debates. And that was one way of even trying to make our command of the language even more. It triggered or it challenged us to have more proficiency in the language because of the debate skill that was with Toastmasters. But otherwise, the most significant that I would associate with Toastmasters is the language use. Communication in language in communication, because it is communication, it is public speaking that bridges my profession as a university professor and as a Toastmaster. You cannot dissociate communication from anything at all, be you a lawyer, be you a doctor, be you whatever. And you get that practice of skills in Toastmasters. It's hard. You hear that over and over again. And I would say that again because, yes, in order for us to be known as Toastmasters, we need to be able to communicate. And to communicate well, we need to use the language properly. So may I repeat that the message is one that a speaker puts across to a hearer. And the message, the communication will be only good if the receiver receives it in the same manner as the speaker intends to give it. And that is by the use of the language properly. Only then, my ladies and gentlemen, will we be called really, in the true sense of it, the Toastmaster. Mr. Toastmaster.